Hi, everyone. Pam Ament here, your CFWC president. This is the last of our April tidbits, the evening workshops, and I hope that you're going to enjoy it. This is a wonderful special workshop with all of our CFWC past presidents, letting us know what it's like to be a past president, because a lot of us have that. I get to look forward to it. A lot of us have it behind us. But you know what? Life doesn't end with that, especially for a volunteer. So I hope that you will stay tuned. I'm going to pause and let some people into the room, and we will be starting shortly. Hi. So ladies, welcome. I am so honored to present our past CFWC presidents this evening. And I'm just going to hand it off to Carol Lopez, who's the first one to speak. And I think it's very exciting. Listen to what these ladies have to say. If you have questions, we will come back to it at the end of the evening. And at that time, we'll give you instructions on how to ask questions to specific presidents. But there is life after presidency. And so let's start. Carol, it's all yours.
Thank you, Madam President. Well, I decided I should start with how I first became a federated member. And it was my neighbor who asked me to join a junior club. So I worked full time, but they met at night. And then after my daughter came along, I stayed home until she went to kindergarten. So then I was active, and then I moved to district and on to becoming a junior director for 1 year. At that time, California only had a 1-year term for juniors. I had wonderful mentors from the general membership who encouraged me to continue my service, but that I should go back to my district and at generals and go through the chairs, as it would be a different experience than being a junior. So I took their advice and served as Mount Diablo District General President, and then I ran for CFW Vice President and became President. So that's a very short version of how I got to be there. I was the first junior to become a CFWC President. So I enjoyed each and every position that I had and will never forget my 2 years as a CFWC President. So after serving as a CFW President, I went back to serve my club as the President for 2 years, because remember, my junior service qualified me to run for CF offices. After my presidency, GFWC Judy Lutz appointed me to serve as the GFWC International Chairman. I thoroughly enjoyed that position because I got to work with about 5 different international organizations. And one at that time was not a partner of ours, and that was Heifer International. So we had a convention in Little Rock, and I worked and volunteered at the farm. And so I'm proud to say that I helped GFWC and Heifer International become working partners. I also served another administration as GFWC International Affairs Chairman under Ernie Schreiner. Now the reorganization is much different than it was then, because I guess they didn't like the international affairs because they thought we were having too many affairs. But we were having a good time. My second term as International Affairs, I also was asked to become a Western Region member, and I ran for treasurer, and in 2010, I was the president of Western States Region. As a region president, along with other 7 region presidents, we became very close. And the other 4 of the other presidents, region presidents, and myself had been state presidents together. So we've been friends, but the other 4 just fit in perfect, and we remain very close today and in constant contact with each other. We had the most enjoyable time, and there again, what does Federation bring but good friends? After a region president, I was also the conservation chairman under Mary Ellen Lessiter. I have served as the GFWC fundraising committee for 2 terms. Now, it's a fun job, but let me tell you, it's a lot of work. But the good thing is you don't have to write any reports. So now I'm serving as the GF Legislation Policy Committee member, and I must say that we're really having a lot of work to do. And I hope you all take response to the alerts. Besides being totally involved in Federation, I've been a board member of the San Ramon Historic Foundation for quite a few years, and am the recording secretary. And I've helped raise thousands of dollars to help us support our 16-acre farm in San Ramon. I'm also on the Parks and Community Service District for San Ramon. I've been a chair for 4 times and have been a liaison to the Arts Advisory Committee, the Planning Commission, and the Economic Development for the city. I'm also active in my Methodist church, and I'm serving as chair of the administrative board. In the meantime, I've become a great grandmother to my dear little Hank, who turned 5 this month, and my little Brinley, who turned 1 in January 1st, 23 years after my late husband passed away. I'm trying to keep up with both of them, but let me tell you, that's a challenge. Also, in the meantime, I retired for working 25 years plus, but being a legal assistant. And I married my wonderful husband, Richard, after being a widow for 18 years. He told me when we got married, he loved me for all the things that I did, but there would be one exception he would not support me for, and that was if I ran for a public office. And I said, well, don't worry, I don't have any intention of doing that. So now you ask me if there's life after being a CF president. Yes, there is, and you know what? I love what I'm doing. I believe in giving back to your community, and I'm busy all the time. And you know what? I wouldn't want to be sitting at home doing nothing. That wouldn't be me. So Federation has done wonders for me, and I truly encourage you at all, always get involved, because the rewards that you reap far exceed what you give. So I have enjoyed my time, and I still enjoy working and being involved. Thank you.
Pam, do they know who's next just automatically, or do we call them out?
Mary Sprague is next.
Yes.
So Mary, please share with us.
I am Mary Sprague, and I was state president in 2002-2004. Unlike many CFWC presidents, I did not intend to become the state president. After serving as Orange District president, I was endorsed for the position of Area D vice president. I was happy to serve as Area D vice president, even though I was also serving as a CFWC convention chairman at the same time. After a few resignations, it just seemed I was in the position to move up to become the CFWC president. I enjoyed serving in each of the positions moving up to president, as I had an opportunity to learn more about our organization, and especially the members, and see some possible areas that maybe we should change. As president, I had the opportunity to make some changes. I believe in changes when they are needed and wanted, not just to make a change. The first change was to the board agenda. After talking to many past presidents, I found that the Dean's Dinner, which included everyone but the CFWC president and district presidents, had originally been for the dean and the state chairman only, but that as positions were added to the board, they were just included in the Dean's Dinner, and therefore the state dean did not meet with the chairman until late on Saturday afternoon. The agenda was changed to what is used now, and Sunday was also removed both to the board meetings and convention, as it had become a dead time. The second change was to start the lead seminar at the CFWC board meeting. My special project was the Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and we were fortunate to have one of the girls abducted in the first Amber Alert as a convention speaker. CFWC became involved with the new Amber Alert and also Code Adam. And after learning about Paul Newman's Turtle Camp, it also became a CFWC project. My theme was fun, friends, and federation make a great cup of tea. So we needed to have fun. I was blessed with a wonderful administrative staff of Libby Buckley, Kathy McGraw, Edie Seeger, and Lois Fitzhugh. And using my theme, my thought was to have a simple tea at every board meeting to honor different groups. Anyone who knows Edie Seeger and her tea shop knows that the tea became one of the highlights of each of the board meetings, where groups such as the district president, district deans, past presidents, even down to the committee members, had an opportunity to have a high tea with the president. We also had a tea at one of the conventions. I loved being CFWC president, and it was the highlight of my federation career. I loved traveling to different areas and clubs and seeing federation in action, of having home hospitality and getting to know the members. I truly miss being invited to the areas in the clubs. And of course, I've saved a lot of miles on my car. Following my years as CFWC president, I have served on the GFWC level in many capacities, such as long-range planning, budget, leadership, community service programs, and credentials. The opportunity to work with women throughout the United States and have friends in almost every state is another opportunity I would not have had if not for being the CFWC president. Is there life after being a CFWC president? Yes, because you always have your home club and your home district. That is the people that supported you along the way. Since being CFWC president, I have been club president 10 times, and at the present time, again serving as the Orange District District President, after serving in all of the vice presidents again. Why, you ask? Because I still have something to give. They needed me, and they asked me. Thank you.
So I believe our next past president to speak, and Dexter wants to announce Vicki Holden with me. So Vicki,
Thank you, and hello to
your
Dexter.
turn.
Thank you, and hello to Dexter. Thanks for asking me to be part of your seminar. I really appreciate it. As I was wondering what I had to add to this conversation, except for listing all the things I had done since becoming state president, which included serving on the GFW board for 3 additional administrations, 2 times on the membership committee and once on the leadership committee under Sue Ellen Brazil. So basically that's what I've been doing. Anyways, I was sitting here wondering what I would say and how I would address it all. A phrase popped into my mind from a Jesse Stone's miniseries with Tom Selleck. And he's interviewing this man, he's sheriff of a small town. He's interviewing this man who's not answering his question directly. And so he says to the gentleman, "You're having a good time with this, aren't you? And not answering my question." And the gentleman responded, "Yes, the reward is in the journey." So it reminded me of what happened on my journey to become state president. And the reward definitely was in the journey. It wasn't achieving the office, but it was also in the journey of getting there. And so I want you all to think about how you're getting where you're going. If you're not at the top yet and you're working toward it, keep on working. But remember to go to every rung on the ladder, every step on the staircase, climb every mountain, whatever simile you want to use, but take it level by level by level. Now you think it's going to take a long time, and maybe it will. It took me a very long time, but then I had a few years out of office and I lost an election, which reminds me, if you lose an election and you love the Federation, find another job to do until you run again. It's not the end of the world. Moving on from that, it's a fine line when you're going up every rung, because you're learning something at every single position that you hold. And you're going to keep that position, that memory of that in your own mind. And you're going to learn from it, from experience. You're going to meet a lot of people that will help you along the way and be with you your entire journey. You're going to be able to influence whatever level you're on with your ingenuity and your expertise. And then as you move up to the next rung, you're taking all of that with you and then adding to it. So by the time you reach the very top rung, in this case, state president, you'll be really comfortable in your own skin. You'll know what you're doing because you've experienced all the problems on the way up. You know what each officer is supposed to do, and you know how to do it and how to help them get it done. So please, I ask you to take your time. Don't stop doing what you're doing, but take your time to really take it all in, keep it with you, and bring it with you as you move up. And I think it's a good thing. How many of you have been in a club that where all of a sudden you can't find a president and they say, oh, well, you've been here 2 years, you can be president. No, they can't. You know they can't. They know they can't. Why? Because they don't know the organization. They don't know the pitfalls. They don't know anything about it. So encourage people to move up, start at the bottom, get them into it so that they're used to doing it so that they can move on up the ladder. Very important in my estimation anyway. The reward is in the journey to the top. About 90 days before my installation as CFWC president, I sent a note to every past state president that was still active in Federation. I know that Carol Lopez got a note, Mary got a note asking if they had any advice for me as I was going into the office. And I sent about 10 notes out and I got 10 notes in return, which was wonderful. And the handy hints that they gave me were to, plan at least 6 weeks in advance. Always be 6 weeks in advance in your planning. One was to be firm, if necessary, to be adaptable, if necessary, to keep a good hand, a good eye on those under you, make sure that they're doing their jobs and help them if they need it, but they need to do the job so that they can move on up to eventually take your job. One of them also mentioned to me that I should be very gracious serving on the GFWC board because, as you know, being state president, you serve on the GFWC board. And she said, you need to be respectful. She said, but you need to subtly remind them that California is the largest state federation of the 50, that a lot of their ideas that they're just not coming up with, the California Federation has been doing for several years and have made changes and improved on them all. So I tried to be kind of quiet about that, but I also, every once in a while, I say, well, we've been doing that for a while. And I was trying not to gloat, but it was really hard not to say that we're so terrific. I had the benefit moving up the ladder of a friend of mine from my club who was on her way to becoming state president. And she would include me in her travel plans. That was Rosemary Newton. I know that Carol and Mary knew her. And she would take me with her when she was going. And if I roomed with her at conventions, at board meetings. And after a meeting in the evening or banquet, the past presidents and upcoming officers would kind of gather in the lobby or maybe even the bar, what do we know? And they would just chat because they were waiting for the elevators to clear out. I learned a lot because she invited me to go with her. I sat very quietly and listened and watched. And all of a sudden they started asking me questions about what did I want to do? Where was I going? How was I going to get there? And they were a great support network for me. And I will never forget all the lovely ladies I mentioned. I could list them all for you, but very few of you would know everyone. Back to the responses I received to my notes. As I told you, several were different. You heard the different ones that they sent me. But each one of them sent two, and I was really surprised because the second hint that they sent me was almost unanimous across the board. And let me share those with you. The first was to relax. It's not always easy to relax when you're presenting a meeting or presiding. It's not always easy to relax when you're doing a board meeting. It's not always easy to relax when you're dealing with someone who doesn't want to be dealt with. But if you relax, the people around you tend to relax. And you have less tension, less diversion, and everyone kind of comes along and has a good time at the same time. So if you can, nothing that happens in Federation, believe it or not, is the end of the world. We just need to fix it and move on and forget about it because dwelling on it does not benefit anybody. Relax. The second is to enjoy all facets of the experience. Enjoy the sights, the sounds, the travel. Enjoy meeting new members. Enjoy getting to know the GF members and statewide and the region people. Enjoy it all. You meet the members, talk to them, let them know that you care about them. and they will care about you, and they will help you in any way possible. So enjoy every little bit that you can on this journey. And last, but certainly not least, have fun. It doesn't always sound like you can have fun because there is a lot of work to the job, but these people were right, because if you relax and you enjoy, you're definitely going to have fun. You're bringing all these people along with you. I know when I was state president, I had a grand time. I had a great executive committee. I had a wonderful support staff. I had terrific CFWC board. District presidents were fantastic. Don't tell Pam I said that, but they were the Vicki's Vamps. And it was a wonderful experience. And the journey that I took, which was a long and sometimes arduous one, was worth the reward. The reward was wonderful from the journey. So I encourage you to be the best you can, to enjoy every office, keep moving on up, keep doing every level and taking all that information with you. I will close by saying my administration, 2008, 2010, was indeed a very good one. And it was very rewarding at the last. As you know, it's over in June. In July, they have the GF convention, and they were presenting awards. And they kept calling California Federation of Women's Clubs. And I kept running up to the front for the pictures. And Rose Ditto, who was president, I got to leave one. She says, "You might as well stay here." And I said, "Okay." So I kind of stepped to the side. Anyway, we took about 9 out of 10 state awards that year. We also got special awards in art. We got special awards in contests. And the cherry on top of that Sunday was that the Covina Women's Club, with their DVAC program, actually took the sweepstakes of the community improvement program. So it was a grand time for me. I wish you all the best, and I hope you have as much fun as I did along the way. And don't forget, the reward is in the journey, whether it's club, district, state, or anything past that, and you'll do wonderfully well. And thank you for listening.
Wow, these are fabulous. I'm going to announce or introduce now Kathy McGraw. Kathy,
Okay.
I know you have a lot to share.
Thank you. Okay, I like to think of my journey in CFWC as embracing opportunities. It began, like most of the other presidents, with serving as my district president in Orange District. And the next administration, I went on to serve as the Area D vice president. After that position, however, I could not run for second vice president, as the CFWC bylaws required that I serve as a state chairman at that time before running for higher office. This bylaw has since been changed. So then I served for 2 administrations as a CFWC chairman, first as convention chairman for Mary, and then as safety chairman. These gave me opportunities, first of all, to work with outside agencies, such as the National Transportation Association, which helped me in setting up, having our members work against triple trailers. And it also, working in these chairmanships, gave me the confidence to work with hotels and other banquet requirements, so that I could also find things for our members who were very detailed in many of their meal requests. These chairmanships also gave me the opportunities to know more of our members all over the state, which helped me later on when I ran for the position of second vice president. I was also fortunate to be part of a very close-knit group of district presidents. We bonded as major events were happening on the CFWC level, which was the resignations of 2 officers. We supported each other, and I am positive it was their support which helped me when I finally ran for the office of second vice president. The more clubs and districts that you can visit with or connect with or just talk to, that's get your name recognized all over the state. After serving as CFWC president, I went on to serve on the GFWC level as a member of the Bylaws Committee and the Communications and Public Relations Committee. I like to think that, again, each officer or committee that I worked on gave me opportunities to expand my abilities. They gave me new skills. Vicki didn't mention it, but when I was first vice president and she was president, we attended a workshop on using an email messaging service. At this workshop, they went into great detail to explain to us the best ways to use emails to alert your membership of upcoming events. And that workshop helped us set up the Quick Bites program, which is used today. When I was a member of the GFWC Communications and Public Relations Committee, I gained knowledge of the good and bad uses of social media, which it often affects us today. Working with all the GFWC staff members also gave me an opportunity to understand what is needed to make a magazine not only informative, but a publication that members will want to read. The GFWC also gave me the opportunity to meet wonderful women from all over the United States. Each club, district, and state are run differently. And if one wants to be effective, it is important to understand this fact. Members that live in Virginia may look for different things from their club than members in California. And members in clubs in Orange District may look for things different than members who live in Redwood District. So my advice for anybody who wants to continue on up the CFWC and GFWC ladder is to be open for new opportunities and accepting of the fact that each member and club is unique and look for different things from this organization. We all want to help our communities, but we may have different ways to approach that goal. Thank you.
See, I am loving all of these little tidbits from people because I've been with all of these presidents as your current president, either serving on the board or just being around as a leads person in 2004. And Carol may or may not remember this, but I was president of the Women's Club of Redondo Beach when we celebrated our 100th birthday. And I was so excited to get a letter from the president of CFWC. And I handed it over to Rita Brown, who some of you know, but because she wanted that letter very much for her scrapbook. But thank you, ladies, so much for sharing. We're going to move on to Valerie Barnes. Valerie.
Good evening. All I can really tell you is that my years in Federation have been the most wonderful. I just can't think. Just today, I dug out my book that was a gift from Joyce Upjordan, and it's got every set of minutes, every single thing we ever did in those 2 years. It's a miracle I can pick the book up, and really it is heavy. But you know, it's been a great time going through. I did the normal things. I served as a district president. Then I moved up the chairs I served as a state chairman for several years, and then did the area, and then on through. I also lost elections. I know how that feels. And but we don't go alone. Nothing is done alone. One person I say has just spoken that urged me on, and that's Vicki Holden, who always said, say yes. Now, Vicki and I have another problem. Most people can't tell us apart. I will never understand why. And to this day, there are ladies who tell me they finally figured it out and then call me Vicki. So it's got to be just maybe the first initials. I was very fortunate. I had the fantastic aid of Doris Bonham, who never let me pick up my briefcase, or she knew I'd always forget my gavel. Stephanie Zakiki, who was always doing it before I needed it or thought I needed it. Edie Seeger, who made sure we were going to have all the desserts I liked. And like I said, Joyce with the booklet, and Barbara Chavez, who was at that time my district president, and she couldn't believe she had to do all that fooling around. But leaving the state, I was scared leaving that night. I know I was really, uptight about leaving office and turning it over to somebody else. but I knew that I had to get on to GF. And I applied and I got to serve 2 wonderful years as membership committee, then 2 more years at community and public relation, and then back to membership. And this time I'm on the capital campaign. And I can assure you, I'm already thinking about what I would like to ask for next time. But that to me is really the joy. Just today on Facebook was pictures of the Wyoming State Convention yesterday. And they were all my friends. And they were, a lot of us were from the same president's group. So it's just everything there is about our federation is just so perfect. We have good days and bad days, and Pam and I are on the phone sometimes more than we need to be or we think we should be, because we do have troubles, but there are things that we can fix. There are things we want to fix. Federation is really, I still am active in my city government and my chamber, and I'm still active in my home club because I cannot give that up. I am pretty much homebound now, and I know at any given moment, if I have to be somewhere, there's a club member that's going to be there. The minute the GF area found out about my illness, I started receiving cards and letters. I know Federation should have bought stock in Hallmark cards because we support the Hallmark card company, as do the people in this state. But really, I just want to tell everybody, enjoy it. Love it. It is something special. I, like Carol, am also a grandma a few times. I have 12 grandchildren. A lot of those are married, so then there's more. And just this last 2 weeks, I became great-grandmother for the 7th and 8th time with twin boys. So I have 8 of those, 8 little grandchildren, great-grandchildren. And when I run out of, if I have anything I need to do, I'll go spend it with them too, when I do anyway. But I love you all, and I thank you for wanting to listen to us. It's a wonderful thing.
It is a wonderful thing to hear from everybody, I think. And next up on our slate is Chris Herzog. Chris.
Hi, good evening, everybody. So happy that you're here instead of watching the Academy Awards. Is that right? Feel very special. It's an honor to be part of this prestigious panel too. And the only way you get to be in this prestigious club or group is to be a state president. And it is truly, truly a wonderful journey. Just as all of you have said ahead of me, I can relate to all of the things you were saying. My journey to the state presidency is by accident and as a result of my mother. And because I was taking her to meetings and my club started falling apart, they needed to have a president. My mom said, I'll be president, but you, meaning me, will be secretary. And I thought, I can do this. I get paid to be a secretary. What can it hurt? So I became secretary. Then I said, what's a delegate to district? So I became district delegate. And then I went to district and they needed a 3rd vice president membership. And I said, what do you do with that? And they elected me for that. And then on up the line, dean and then district president. And I took on public relations chairmanship at CFWC, and I learned a whole lot there. Oh my gosh, our public relations program was really not doing too much. And those were the days when we were begging our members to learn email or worse than that, put together a club newsletter. So we used to have a newsletter contest. Do you remember that? Oh my gosh. So I worked and worked on that. And so I spent 2 terms as public relations chairman, but doing that, I really got to know all the members in our state and absolutely communicated with everyone. And that's a really important step for going forward, is to get to know the members all over our state. So then I went to take on Area D Vice Presidency, which is a huge district, a huge area, almost all of Southern California. And again, learned more leadership tactics there and learned how to be on state board as a more important officer. Then Vicki Holden, bless her heart, said, say yes and come along and try for membership chairman. And I thought, holy cow, I don't know if I can do that, because what a commitment that is, right, ladies? You commit to that, then you're going on to first vice president, and then you will be president. I thought, I don't know if I can do this. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. That was the kind of support I got from all of you past presidents, but also from my district. And that support is so important to make you try. And who was it said, just say yes, just try. Just try. If you're offered an opportunity to do something, take it on. Somebody will help you. There is help everywhere, and that is the benefit and beauty of Federation also. My journey up to state presidency was almost 10 years. I would say a 20-year journey from when I started as a member. I call myself the accidental president because I never intended to do this. And then just by taking on jobs, I worked my way up the line. But I got to observe the traditional leadership techniques that many of you all know too, but I observed Doris Ruffner and Jerry Boone and Vivian Henderson, and then Tammy Gunsler, and then Mary Sprague was really important to me as a membership chairman coming on to district, because that was the first year they allowed the membership chairman to attend state board meetings. And I thought, whoa, yippee. And that was my toe in the water with that. So Mary was really supportive of all of us upcoming leaders, and she did fun things for us, and that's true to Mary's character. She likes to have fun, Federation, friends and fun. So that made me feel comfortable and want to carry on. As Valerie has said, traveling around to all of the clubs, meeting the members, oh my gosh, what a wonderful joy that is. I have traveled so many miles around this state that I feel like I know the state like the back of my hand. But the members are the best part of our federation, and boy, don't we miss being with our members now that we're all cooped up here in our houses. But at least we have our Zoom meetings to talk to each other. And one, I think I got off topic when I was saying traditional training and leadership with my former peers, but Pam Emmons, thank you so much for taking on your presidency this year and your administration. I could not do what you're doing because I wasn't trained the way you were, and I'm not young enough to do what you're doing or open. Holy cow, I would be quaking in my boots thinking, how are we going to manage our meetings? How are we going to keep our members together? How are we going to keep from losing everybody because we're not keeping in touch? You're doing that. You and Barbara and your other officers, and by these workshops that we're having. This is really important. So I thank you for not doing it like we always did. We're not doing it the same way anymore. We are being forced to move on and then be ourselves. Thank you, Pam, administration. I'm kind of getting on my box a little bit. As far as I can say, I loved being president, highlight of my life, and it prepared me for taking on other personal tasks I wouldn't be able to do. Things when I finished the with 2014 to 2016. During the end of my term, California was asked to host the GF convention in Palm Springs the very next year. And so, internet connection is unstable. So we took down that task. Toby Cahan appointed me the convention chair for state, and actually on with the GFWC president and the staff at GF and the convention chairman. I felt really, really important to be able to do that job, but mostly so proud of our California members for the job they did by running, being hosts, and doing such a good job that we were able to pull off that convention in 1 year. Usually the states have at least 2 years for invitation and preparation, and at that time they needed somebody to host that convention, and we got called on because we could do it, right? California is the biggest state. We got the moxie and we got the know-how, and so girls, you pulled it off very nicely. Thank you very much for that. Unfortunately, after that, that's been my only contact with GFWC. My life kind of fell apart. My husband got really sick. My business went bad, and I have just been mostly taking care of being caregiver for my husband and trying to collapse my business. Luckily, we were able to sell our property out there, and now we're closed down our cafe and restaurant, which is not the most popular business to be in these days. And we have finished our liquidation sale, so life is getting better for me. I don't have that business to take care of anymore, but I'm still in touch with my own club, Women's Club of Lakeside, which I love those ladies to death, and my district, Southern District. We're doing a good job of holding our clubs together there too. I am the leadership chairman for Martha Pritchard there in that district, and I've really enjoyed working with Dory and your new ideas that you've come up with, Dory. Your little pamphlets are excellent. Let's see what else. I intend to apply for be on a committee for GFWC. I truly would love to work with GF, but until my time is my own, I won't be able to do that. In my meeting of my being state president and meeting all the other ladies throughout the nation has been exceptional, and I do keep in touch with our Western States ladies, and how about Mary Beth Williams, who is now treasurer on GFWC. She was my classmate as president, so she's going on up the ladder. How cool is that? So that's my story, ladies, and proud to be past president of California Federation, and proud to be part of this prestigious president's group. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Chris. Our last speaker is our most recent past president, Dory Kelsey. Take it away.
Hi, everybody. Okay, yeah, it hasn't been that long for me. I've been on the Communications and Public Relations Committee for a year. I've been away a year. Probably I had a difficult time my last year, not because of anything that anybody did or said. It was because of COVID, and all of a sudden, nothing was the same. And there was no convention. How are we going to do an election? It probably wasn't the best election I've ever done, but we did it. We got through it. We made it. We we actually had more people vote in this election than I think we've had in a long time. We had 730 some people vote. And I think that was absolutely fabulous because everybody that was elected had a really good, there was a good turnout. So people wanted them. I just thought that was fabulous. Whether people agreed or not, it doesn't matter. They were elected. I thought we did a better job than GF did, and I'm going to blow our horn. We kept everybody informed at what was going on at all levels. We, every week we had some kind of communications with our members to keep them informed of what was happening at CFWC and what we heard, if we heard anything from GFWC. And we didn't hear a whole lot, but we tried our darndest to keep the clubs informed so that they would know what was going on, because it's important that they know that one, we were doing that. We were trying to inform them what was going on, and that we cared enough to tell them what was going on. And Pam was pushing me from behind, and that was good. It was good. Pam and I worked really good as a team, and that was really nice that I had somebody that I could work really well with, because it was a very difficult time for all of us, especially February, March, April, and May, when we didn't know anything. We were all told that when we stayed at home, it would be 2 weeks. Yeah, well, that happened. We all got to go out and shop again, right? So it was very difficult. And I was the first president for probably since World War II that didn't get a convention, and Pam didn't get an installation. I felt bad for her because of that, but we moved on. Okay, what have I done since? I've been the leadership chairman. I've been very vocal. Pam's had me every time she can put me in a workshop, she's put me in a workshop. That's what happens when your best friend puts you in a job. And you know what, it's been a good learning experience, because I've had to come up with something different to say each time. You can't say the same old thing. And it's made me research more leadership things, and to learn what leadership is changing into. This last one that we had, the one thing that you keep hearing it on TV from Comcast, Xfinity, you're not going to bounce back, you're going to bounce forward. And that's what we need to do. We need to not bounce back, we need to bounce forward. And when everybody keeps saying we've never done it that way before, we have to remember that, no, we haven't. And we need to not lose Zoom, and we need to remember that there is Messenger. You can rent a room for nothing on Messenger for small groups and have, 6 or 7 people. You can have an executive committee meeting in Messenger and it be just as effective as Zoom, but a little bit easier. You don't have to have all the frotherall, and you can just have say, today we're going to have a meeting, and be on Messenger. Messenger is a little bit easier and a little bit faster. So you have that extra option. You don't have to just do Zoom. I've done the booklets, and those came about because I was asked to write something for the communications committee about the websites and stuff like that to go in our manual, the GF manual. Well, of course, what I wrote was not anything that they used, but okay, that's all right. They used like 4 sentences out of the 5 pages that I wrote. But I ended up doing something on crisis management, on what we did to move the crisis forward for California. And I put that in a little booklet, because I was doing a little booklet for my club with our names and addresses, and Publisher works very well that way. And then I thought, okay, well, Pam's always going on about wellness. Let's do wellness. So I did a wellness booklet. And then pretty soon I was doing one on this and one on that. And I just sort of fell into that. And I think we have like 18 or 19 of those so far. And they've just sort of, one's led to another. And if you don't agree with one, that's fine. Look it up on the internet and say, have your own opinion. Because most of this I've gotten off the internet. The last one that I did was what is leadership and what is management doing after COVID? How has COVID changed leadership in the world? And it has, because the kids nowadays are really different. And I was at a Easter dinner, and one of the kids was 34, and he was telling us that he works for Caltrans. He's an executive accountant, so he's fairly high up in accounting in Caltrans, which kind of made me laugh, but he only works 4 to 8 hours a week because he works so hard earlier in the year that he has so much CTO built up, and he wants to spend it with his kids. And that is the new norm. This new generation doesn't want to work as hard. They want time. They don't care about the money. They want time with their families. And I was very interested in hearing, what he had to say, because those are our new members. He's about 35. And that's exactly what that little booklet said. And that's exactly what the internet said, that they wanted a different kind of workplace. So it was kind of like, yes, I'm right. I read something and it was right. So that was kind of cool. Okay, we're almost done. So I've talked too long already. I'm a club president, and then that's it. Okay, Pam, you can have it.
Oh, thank you, ladies. Please, everybody join me in giving a big round of applause to our past state presidents. These are the foundation. Really, these ladies are our foundation, and we miss the two that weren't able to join us today, Toby Cahan and Doris Ruffner. They both had other things that they had to be doing, but I don't want any of you, because we're not going to be able to do Q&A and end by 8, but I don't want any of you to ever fear contacting one of these ladies and asking them anything that you are interested in, because they know the answers. They know more than I know, because I'm not where they are yet. And if you're coming to convention, we have just under 350 people coming to the state convention this year. For the first time that I can remember in a very long time, we have 5 past presidents, well, 4 and myself, that want to apply to GFWC. We've not had that many in a long time, and I'm just so proud of all of us for stepping up. Ask these ladies, ask away, pepper them with questions, because I guarantee you if they don't know the answer, and I'm pretty sure they do, they know who can give you the answer. They are the ladies I go to when I have a problem. So with that said, another round of applause for everyone. I'm going to bring Lynn Youngstrom up real quickly to talk about our next event, which is our only event in May other than convention. Lynn, open house time. Let's see, in May, we're going to convention, and in June, I think we're going back to workshops. And on May 16th is our monthly open house. If you're interested, please send me a request. I will be sending out a mass mailing to give you the link so that you can come. As usual, it's on May 16th. Thank you, Lynn. That's wonderful. Sonia Holtz, any last words?
No, again, I was so touched by a lot of what you said tonight. I cannot say thank you enough for all of you. We would love to have some of the articles from the past presidents for the New California Club Women, just to hear your experience and how you went about it. It touches me, and I just think a lot of people would be touched by those stories.
Yes, yes. Just Mary Sprague, don't tell the Padron tequila story. I was new. I'll share with you, I was new. I was interviewing for leads, and I went to the president's suite for a get together, and I was leaving, and she said, "Where are you going?" And I said, "Back to my room. We have Padron there." And Nona Kozak had brought it. And I invited her to come with me. I didn't realize that the president had to stay at her own party and reception. But it was my very first state meeting. And so I learned too that there's certain things that presidents are expected to do. And one of them is to stay at a party that they're hosting. So,
Yes, but it's more fun to go visit.
we were fun to go visit. Marina was always fun to go visit. So ladies, I thank you, each of you past presidents, for all of your knowledge. Ladies that were here tonight, thank you for being here. Your recording will be up sometime tomorrow on Facebook, and everyone have a lovely evening. Thank you. Bye.